In this video, we're going to be talking about Pinterest group boards and how you can use them to grow your website traffic to hundreds of thousands of monthly viewers per month. What's going on, guys? Nick Foy here, back with another Pinterest experiment / case study type video. So if you're new to this channel, we've been running different case studies on Pinterest to try to figure out what's working in 2018 for my Ask Nick Foy brand account. I've got a couple other brand accounts that I'm also running some experiments on. They're already successful, getting thousands and thousands of monthly visitors back to my website, and the monthly reach on Pinterest is around 200,000 that we're trying to grow to 500,000. But for some reason, my Ask Nick Foy account has kind of been stuck at that 50, 60,000 monthly reach. So we're doing these tips and case study experiments to show you what I did to revive my account and get the traffic growing again. So I want to welcome you and thank you for being here, giving me your time and your attention. And please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss updates on these case study videos if they interest you. So again, we're talking about Pinterest and how to use it to grow your blog traffic. Once you grow your blog traffic using Pinterest, you could start monetizing your blog with ads, or you could send that traffic through some kind of sales funnel, like getting them onto your email list and pitching products as an affiliate marketer, or maybe you sell your own ebooks, your own courses, your own digital products. So there's lots of reasons why Pinterest is super important to your business and your success long term. So these case studies hopefully will help you see success. And if so, make sure you're leaving comments below of how my videos and tips have given you some new insight and helped you make some changes that you saw results. So in this video, we're going to be talking about group boards, which are vital to your Pinterest success and need to be part of your Pinterest strategy. A group board is basically a board where lots of people collab together, pinning to this board, and it also tends to have lots of followers. So not only do you have your followers seeing these pins that you're pinning to this board, but also all the other collaborators, they've got followers following this board as well. So your pins get exposed to thousands of people, and this can ultimately lead to more clicks, repins, and better engagement with your pins, which can help boost its overall quality of pin score in the eyes of Pinterest. And that'll help it start showing up in the Pinterest search feed, and you can see the snowball effect as the pin continues to just get more and more impressions, more clicks, more repins, and eventually it helps build the quality of your profile. When your profile has lots of high quality pins, Pinterest sees your profile as a high quality profile, and eventually every time you upload a new pin, a fresh pin to your profile, Pinterest automatically assumes that fresh pin is going to be quality since you're uploading it to a high quality profile. So in the long run, group boards can spur this big chain of events, and that's why they're super important. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and dive into today's video where I'm going to show you a Pinterest group board strategy you can use to grow your traffic. Alright guys, here we are inside my Pinterest account for the Ask Nick Foy brand. So this is where I pin all these different pins related to my blog articles on the AskNickFoy.com blog. So it has to do with blogging tips, marketing tips, email lists, social media, all those topics. So I'm in like the marketing type niche here with this account, and then I've got a couple other accounts in the real estate investing, personal finance, golf niches, things like that. So this account, we've got these different boards here on my profile. Some of them are my personal boards here, but more importantly, we've got these group boards where it's got kind of this little picture that's split screen with multiple profile images. That's how you know it's a group board. So as I organized my boards, I put all my personal ones up here on top and then all my group boards here. And I organized them as well by which boards I get the most engagement so that I know when I'm repinning things, I want to repin my best pins to my best boards to try to help my pins get the best chance of, getting clicks and repins. So this is the board that sends me the most repins, most clicks that I found out by going into my analytics under website, and you can see which boards are, your pins are doing the best on. Or actually, no, you would go into analytics, you go under profile, since I want to see only pins that are coming from my profile. So I go under profile and you'll get a list of the best boards. So I organized them according to the best boards. And then I think these are a couple new ones that I just joined, so I'm waiting to see how they do, and then I'll organize them into the mix as well. So group boards, basically if we click into one real quick, It's just where a bunch of people collaborate. So you can see here there's 584 different people here in this group board, and they're asking you to please repin or they will delete you. And the reason this is you want to join high quality group boards, meaning the boards have lots of engagement. If everybody's just pinning, these 500 people are all just pinning to this board and nobody's coming in here and repinning pins from the board, it's going to have a low engagement score, and Pinterest is not going to look too favorably upon that. So any pins that come in here aren't going to get that much Pinterest juice or Pinterest search juice, whatever you want to call it, because they're going to say, oh, that pin's on a low quality board. Now, if you pin to a high quality board, Pinterest is more likely to show it in the search feed. Now, again, nobody truly knows the algorithm, but these are things people have tested and kind of theories that we've all come up with. So again, this is a group board. You can see all these pins. So how do you know if you're on a low quality or high quality group board? Well, anytime I go to join one, I first have to join it. So what you do is step one, you come click on the group board you want to join. You read the rules right here in the descriptions. A lot of times they'll leave an email or a way to contact them. Right now this one says closed. They're not accepting new people. But when you find ones that are accepting, they'll usually leave an email address. So all you do is you send them an email and say, hey, I noticed your group board. You know, put the title of the board. I'd love to join and contribute content to it. And then usually you got to leave them your Pinterest handle. So pinterest.com/asknickfoy, or you leave them your email address that's associated with that Pinterest account, and then they can go into the group board and invite you. So again, if you're trying to start your own group board, for example, how would you invite other people? And so that you know how other people are inviting you to theirs, let's go ahead and show you real quick. So we'd go to boards here, and I could go to one of my personal boards like email list building. If I wanted to turn this into a group board, you could see this little plus person right here. So it'll ask you to invite people. So I can go through and type in the name of the Pinterest profile, or I could type in their email address. So that's why you want to leave some kind of contact information in your email so they can easily come in here and add you to their group board. We can also click the little pencil here, and down here it'll say collaborators, and you can add or invite people. And then if you want to make the board, you know, private, you just click on the little secret tab, and that turns it back into a private board, so it's no longer a public group board. But overall, collaborators right here, this is where you'd add people, and that's how they're going to add you when you send them that email. All right. So that's the group board, what it is, how you get invited. You just email them based on what email or whatever they leave in their description here. Then you get joined to the group board. So once you're joined to the group board, I like to see if it's a quality group board or not. So you're going to need Tailwind for this. It's a paid subscription to a service. It costs about $120 a year. It works out to about $10 a month. So if you want to, add that to your business expenses, if you don't have the budget for it, it may not be a necessary tool, but I think it helps because it gives you access to all kinds of analytics. So we want to go under the Board Insights tab here, and then we're going to get a drop-down list, kind of a grid of all these different boards. So it's going to show you some cool things like how many pins a board has and how many repins that board has. So this is like the board's quality score, basically. The higher the score, the more quality that board is. And that's, what Pinterest is looking at. They want boards that get lots of repins, lots of engagement versus, how many pins those boards have. So if you're joining boards that have tons of pins and hardly any repins and they've got low scores, that's a low quality board. So again, as we scroll down here, we can see the little people icon. That means these are group boards. And then if there's the lock symbol right down here, that's a secret private board. Pinterest doesn't rate these or judge these if they're private. They only look at and score your public boards. So if you have personal boards you want to pin to that you don't want other people to see, you can keep those boards private and Pinterest will not penalize you for that. But only your public boards, really Pinterest is kind of judging your profile score on. All right, so all these different group boards here, you can see they've got thousands of pins, especially this one, 900,000 pins, only 139,000 repins. So that's not very good. A lot of people are just joining and pinning to the board and they're not actually repinning things. So the repin count is low and that gives the engagement score really low at 0.01. Virality score is real low at 0.15. So this really isn't that quality of a board. The only reason why I stayed a member of it is I've noticed in my analytics, again, when you go into your Pinterest analytics and I go under profile, I can see that that board is one of those boards that's getting me clicks and me repins. So if I was to delete that board or leave that board, it'd be hard for me to continue getting those clicks and repins. So I stayed in it because I think I can keep posting to it and keep getting my content clicked on and shared. But if I notice that new pins I'm putting out recently aren't really getting clicks or shares anymore, then I could leave that board. My pins will still stay on that board, I believe, and they could still keep getting clicked and shared, but it's a way to get out of that board and not post any new content to it. But if, like I said, if that new content's not doing good anyways, then there's no point in being part of that board anymore. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is I'm going to be watching as I post some new pins using my new pinning strategy that we covered in one of the previous episodes. I'm going to be doing that new pinning strategy, pinning to these boards, and then I'm going to monitor how those pins do on these boards. And if they don't get any shares and repins, then I'm probably going to end up leaving some of these boards because they're low quality. I do have one up here, if we can find it, this How to Market Your Business that I joined. It actually has a good score. It's got 1,056 repins, only 782 pins. So this one, people are actually engaging and repinning content and not just spamming their own pins into the board. So this is one that I would, want to pin to and want to watch closely to see if my pins have more success on this board than they do on these other boards, just because this board has a better, standing in the eyes of Pinterest. So that's a little bit about how you would use Tailwind to look up whether a board's good or bad when you join it. So again, first you just got to find the boards and join them, and then you got to look in Tailwind here under the analytics to see if the board score is good. And then thirdly, not only do you want to look to see if the board score is good, if it's a low or high quality board, but you also want to experiment, pin to it and see what happens. So that's where Pinterest Analytics comes in handy. When I go under Analytics, we'll go to Profile just to show you what that looks like real quick. And then we can go under Clicks, or you can do it under Saves, whichever metric you want to be more important. We want clicks to our website. So we can come down here and see the boards with the most clicked pins. So this one right here has gotten 43 clicks in the last 30 days. Please repin from the board. So that board, again, even though I come into Tailwind and look up that board here, it's called Please Repin. So Please Repin right here. 78,000 pins, only 26,000 repins. It's got a bad score of 0.33 and an 0.5 engagement score. So it doesn't look like a good board, but I'm staying a member of it because I'm getting 43 clicks and I got 43 saves from it in the last 30 days. So if, that's the only reason why I'm staying to it. But these other boards I could scroll down here and check out and see that, they might not be sending me as much clicks or repins. So those could be ones I leave in the future. All right, so now that we covered that, let's go ahead and cover one more thing. How do you find group boards? Because I know you're wondering, all right, once I find a group board, I know how to join it. Now I know how to check its score in Tailwind, but how do I find these group boards? So what I like to do is go to influencer pages. So let's just type in, let's say, depending on what your niche is, let's say you're in the fitness space, all right? So fitness exercises is something where you might want to join a fitness board. So you type in fitness exercises, it's going to just bring up a bunch of pins. So we need to go here to this filter where it says all pins. We want to go down to where it says people so that it just filters out people. All right, now we're going to look for some popular influencer accounts on here. So if we look around, we can look at all these different accounts, how many followers they have. Sometimes can tell you if it's an influential account or not. So let's do this one, Yoga Women Fitness, for example. Let's click on her. She's only got 9 boards actually, so this might not work, but we'll see. What we're looking for is, let's go back out. I want one that's got a lot of boards that they're a member of. So for example, Fit Never Quit, they're a member of 98 boards. So let's click in here. And you can look now on the new Pinterest update. You can see if this account is influential or not based on the monthly viewers it gets. So this has a pretty high monthly viewership, above 200,000. It's got 6,000 followers. Well, let's go to their boards tab here, and we're looking to see basically what group boards this account is a member of. So as we scroll down here, it looks like they've just got a bunch of personal boards. They're not actually a member of any group boards. So let's just get back out. So basically that's what you would do though, just kind of keep it short and summed up. You're going to go through and look for influencers in your niche. So I'd look for a fitness account, which might take a little while. Once I find one that they're a member of group boards, then I would click on those group boards and ask to join them. So that's how you'd find group boards. You start off by just finding an influencer. What boards are they a member of? So like in MySpace, in the marketing niche, Melissa Griffin, for example, she's a high 6-7 figure per year earner from her blog, and a lot of that comes from her Pinterest traffic. So again, you're going to see all her pins, but we want to find her actual profile. So then we can click on her profile, and then we can scroll down here and under the boards tab. Then we'll scroll down here and we'll see if she's a member of these different group boards here. So blogging tips and tricks, entrepreneur success, young creative entrepreneurs. So now that I see she's a member of these boards, and I know she's an influencer that has success, she gets 199 monthly views. She's got like 50-some thousand followers. So if she's a member of these boards, then they must be doing her well. So I want to join those boards as well. So we click on them. You can read the description. It doesn't look like they're taking any new pinners. So this board's not going to work for us. We're going to have to try again and look elsewhere. But you get the point. That's what you do to find the board. That's how you join it. Once you join it, then you wait for it to refresh in your Tailwind analytics so that you can see the stats on it. How many pins does that board have? How many repins does it have? How many followers? Virality score, engagement score. So you get all these metrics on that group board and decide if it's one you want to stay in or if you want to get back out of it. So that's our little strategy here, joining group boards. And then what happens is you pin your best pins. So like we talked about in the previous episode, we go into our Pinterest analytics inside of Google. So you got to have Google Analytics hooked up to your website in order to see what kind of traffic's coming to your website from Pinterest. So we can see all the different pins that are sending us traffic back to our website. So I want to go to my best performing pin and I want to open it up, and then it's going to pull it open here, and we're going to be able to see who pinned it and to what board they pinned it to. So it's not always going to be the original pin that you pinned to your board. It might be somebody who shared your pin. Like in this case, this guy shared one of my pins to his board. And then this happens to be the one that Pinterest is showing a lot on Pinterest, and that's why it's getting the most impressions, clicks, engagement. So this is the version of the pin that I want to save. So I would click save, and then I would come down here and find some of my best group boards that I want to pin to. So great bloggers, we'll go ahead and pin it to that board. And then now we just pinned a high quality pin to a group board, and we'll monitor the results of what happens over the next several days. So probably 30 days from now, I'll give it a 30-day window. In 30 days, we'll head back into our Pinterest analytics. We'll go under profile again, and we'll see if that pin that we just repinned to that board shows up here as one of our most clicked pins. And then if so, you'll know, because like we'll see that version of that pin, it'll show up here. And when we click on it, which you can click any of these. So let's just pretend that it was the one that I just pinned called How to Sell Online Courses. Let's say that was the one showing up number one here. It had 20 clicks. So all I got to do is click. It'll open that pin up, and you'll be able to tell that it was your pin, your copy, because you'll be able to see that it was your profile down here, which it'll say you saved to, and it'll say Great Bloggers. Since I just saved it to the group board Great Bloggers, then that's what it would say here, Great Bloggers, and it'll have my picture and my name. So that's how you know it was your copy that you saved to that group board 30 days ago, and now that group board picked it up, it started getting clicks, getting shares, and now it's going to show up in your Pinterest analytics as one of your most successful pins in the last 30 days. So that's how we're going to test if group boards are actually engaging with our content. Once we pin to a group board, we'll come back in a couple weeks, couple months, and look at the analytics and see if that pin is starting to surface on our account as one of the top pins in the last 30 days. Another way is you can come into the Tailwind. Again, they've got the pin inspector tool here. So we can click on that, and you'll be able to see a list of all of your best pins, similarly to Google Analytics. So there's really multiple ways you can look up and see if it's one of your top performing pins. You can come into Google Analytics and find it, but I think it'd be easier to visually find it by using Tailwind, because you can actually see a visual copy of it. You can see how many repins it had, when it was pinned. So for example, that one I just pinned today, the date would show that it was pinned. Today's date, we'd see how many repins it got in the last so many days since it was pinned. So this is one way to track your pin to that group board to see if it's doing good. It even shows what board you pinned it to, so I could see, all right, that How to Create Online Courses one, that's showing up for the Great Bloggers board. Okay, this is a different copy of it. Again, there's multiple copies out there, so this is just one copy. I went and found the other copy that guy pinned to one of his boards, since that seems to be the best copy This is also a pretty good copy. It's got 44 repins. So maybe another day I pin this copy, since it's my original pin that I pinned to my Ask Nick Foy board. This is the original pin that guy found, and he pinned it to his board, but then his pin did really well for some reason. I'm not sure why his pin did well instead of this one doing well, but this one's doing all right. So this might be a copy of that pin that I end up saving to a different group board later on and experimenting which one does better. So there's lots of different ways to check analytics. It's all about data. Again, this may seem very confusing, very advanced, and that's because it is. A lot of people just sign up for Tailwind, they schedule pins, and that's something I did for a long time, but it wasn't working. My traffic wasn't growing, and I've read more and more that if you actually really dive into Pinterest and manually pin and actually pin good pins, high quality pins, and you pin them to high quality boards, doing a collective of these things along with optimizing them for Pinterest SEO, that's going to help your account do better. So that's where we created this course called Profitable Pinterest Traffic. You can check it out. We've talked about it in some of our previous videos, so I won't get too in depth into it here. But if you go to asknickfoy.com/courses, you can find it here under step 2. I also have linked to it below in the YouTube description, but basically it'll open up the sales page to my course Profitable Pinterest Traffic, which this price probably is going to be different when you see it because we're going to be raising prices here very soon. But you scroll down here, and you can see a list of all the different videos you're going to get. So it's a lot of things like how to set up your account, how to create pins, how to create boards, how to optimize your pins and optimize your boards for search, for SEO. But then now in these case study videos I'm doing, which I'm going to be adding into this course as well down the road once these case studies wrap up, then we're also doing some advanced things that aren't in this course yet, but we will be adding them to the course. This is kind of just the beginner stuff, like how to set up your account, how to create pins on Canva, how to schedule your pins, and then we go into affiliate marketing, how to sell things on Pinterest, how to track your stats and analytics. So lots of different topics covered here, and then we'll be adding these new pinning strategies. I'll be updating this course. So if you're a lifetime member, you get access to all the updates. So you might buy the course and then we keep updating it because social media always changes. The Pinterest, again, they just changed their profile layout. They're changing their home feed. So lots of updates come to social media every year. So we'll have to keep updating our course, creating new videos and adding to it. And then if we do some collaborations with some other successful Pinterest pinners, we might do some group calls or some podcast episodes. So we'll give those to our private community. Once you join, you'll get access to those as well in the future when we come out with them. So that wraps it up for this video though. We covered group boards today, how to join the board, and then how to track its analytics in Tailwind to see if it's a quality board or not, because you don't want to be part of low quality boards. That could hurt your Pinterest profile score, and that could hurt your pins, how they do in the future. So you want to be part of high quality boards, and you want to track your pins in the analytics, Google Analytics, Tailwind's pin inspector, as well as your Pinterest profile analytics to see which pins are actually doing well, if your pinning strategy is paying off. If not, make adjustments, make tweaks to it until you find boards where your pins are getting lots of shares. You can come down here to the very bottom. It'll actually show you which boards are doing most successful things for your pins. So I can see these are some of my best boards I'm a member of. So I'm going to stay a member of them, keep pinning to them until I see the numbers start dropping off, and then eventually I might think, all right, it's time to leave that board. It must be going down in quality if my analytics are starting to drop. So in all, it takes a lot of work. It's going to be, you got to actually take this serious, but if you put in the work, you should see success and see your profile clicks and your traffic back to your website start increasing. So that wraps it up. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you for giving me your time and your attention. Stay tuned for the following end card where you can see our next video we recommend watching, and you can click that subscribe button, or in the bottom corner of the screen there's the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribed so that you get the latest updates, and I'll see you guys in the next video case study. Take care.